Time goes by fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
George, I don't know, Jeff, you realize that George was on the original.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear that, yeah. I'm impressed with that whole organization, to be honest with you. It's like a jewel of the Nile, so to speak, you know.
It's a business.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a business.
You have to keep thinking that way.
right, I agree.
Any questions for Larry?
Just, no other anticipated costs in the facility itself, I mean, the function hall? How's the roof? Roof leaking? How's the roof doing?
It's all right.
Yeah? Roof's going
It's
down.
still up there?
No, because where you stand in the building.
Roofs.
Great,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
No,
Actually, it didn't leak.
it's great.
How'd we do?
Good
here,
news.
Greg?
It's not there, but.
What's that?
How'd we do?
I'll give you a full report. We did have some leaks. Yeah, we sprung a few leaks.
I got a few leaks.
Sure. Yeah.
But actually, that facility's in pretty good shape now, but no anticipated major capital improvements there, foreseeable future?
No, we had spoken of maybe doing a pub or and everything, but
Would that be in partnership with Burton?
probably not, because, the 3 years is left, and then we'll be putting back out again.
Oh.
The 5 that the town meeting approved, so that might be a partnership.
Is the LUC hovering around again, or have you told them to go away for a few years?
No, I think we're all set.
Satisfy their needs for now.
No, I think that, as you know, all of you, we've really tackled all of the major items, starting with Kids Spot, because Brad Park was always complaining to me about it. I mean, not Park.
Brian Wood?
Brad Jones.
Oh, Brad Jones. Oh.
Hey, are you a Ranger fan from long ago?
It's really nice,
We've
actually.
done the tennis courts, which were again, a dismal condition. We've done those. We've done now we've done the turf fields.
Right.
And we don't have anything really big pending.
Right.
I know some people would like to think you have a swimming pool
Yeah.
pending, but I'm thinking more tonight.
Oh,
I'm
So,
sorry, go ahead.
if I may ask, what about, there's a bridge that they're looking at on Park Street going to Ipswich River Park that they've been talking about and wondering, seeing how they can get some funds for that.
Do you see the movie Bridge to the River Queen?
Quine, that queen.
No, we plan to tackle those when they come forward with a good proposal, and we take a look at it. And if we have to wait a year before, we're not going to take our surplus down. We want the surplus to continue to grow. So we're not gonna take it down with, let's get this and let's get that and bring it down to 200,000. We wanna have a strong surplus, and when it's good and strong, then we'll say, okay, yes, we can take that. Just like we did with the turf field, and just like we've done with other things on it there.
Larry, just a thought. One of the things I think the citizenry, they hear about the Hillview and they know, well, we funded Ipswich River Park or this or that. But the way I've always looked at it, it's a business that's generated capital, and it hasn't gone except for the necessities of operation, right? Gone to just spend money on operation things. It's basically acquired assets. And it would be nice to put some kind of a board or something in the lobby where it's a timeline of what was accomplished, when it was taken, what was accomplished, what are the assets as you go down in time, something for the future.
That's not gonna take my black spaces.
No, it's only about that much.
No, but, a lot of
No, but it's probably gonna be
corporations,
about the same size.
a lot of corporations have done that, and I think it would advertise the fact that this thing has been,
Oh, would that be the lobby here, or?
no, at the Hillview.
Yeah.
I'm sure we entertain that.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Maybe that picture they took with us behind it.
That's not quite what I had in mind. Any other questions for Larry?
No.
Okay, thank you
Keep
very
up
much.
the good work. Thank you.
Appreciate the continued good work.
The assessor here?
I can do that.
Okay.
If you turn to.
Do we want to come back to it and
No, no, I
cover, back in Mary
I-
Ann's here?
It won't take me more than 2
Okay,
minutes.
all right, fine.
If you turn to the tab in your book,
Which is number?
number 14. The assessor couldn't be here this evening due to illness,
Yes.
so, if you flip to the second page in the budget, which is the more detailed version, you'll note that the level funded budget is in at the exact same dollar amount as requested this year. The level services budget accounts for the fact that there is a step increase due to an employee in the department who's part of the Administrative Services Union. To achieve that, the department head has proposed reducing some of her hours to accommodate that step increase. That will be the way that we will handle it. The question that comes up is, you know, fiscal year 2011 is a major year coming up for us. We have the revaluation, which is proposed. That work is scheduled to begin sometime in the timeframe of May to June and end in the timeframe of September, October, which is necessary in order to have the Department of Revenue certify it and have it appear on the 2011 tax rate. You may recall some of the cities and towns throughout Massachusetts had some difficulty getting Department of Revenue to do that, so that's timely certification of the new valuation is critical. The number of hours per week for the assessing manager is 20 hours a week. If you flip to the personnel schedule, which is the next page, you'll note that it's incorrectly listed as 1 FTE. A 20-hour-a-week position is not 1 FTE. It's fractional of that amount. I think it's just about a little bit over a 0.5 FTE. And that's what the 1,040 hours equates to, is 20 hours a week over the course of 52 weeks. Otherwise, the staff in the department has remained stable. There are 2 additional assessors who are appointed officials, Mr. Smith and Mr. Tyne. Each of them receives a small stipend for their services. As you know, they have to receive certification through the Department of Revenue to be qualified as an assessor. It's one of those unique things that's required of the position. And we're fortunate to have 2 long-term staff in the administrative assistant and secretary, both of who have been in the department and provided us with some additional experience. That is the full view of it. Just to give you an idea of where we stand in terms of abatement requests that have been filed. Abatements were due in on February 1st. I'm informed through the assessors there was a total of 101 abatement applications that were timely filed. That compares to about 90, which were filed as of February of 2009. So the activity has gone up. There's no way of predicting what the disposition of those will be. A number of them are settled out through the Board of Assessors. There's then a charge that's made against the overlay account. Those that don't get settled, there's an opportunity of appeal to the Appellate Tax Board, which is a state agency. And again, without doing extensive examination of what those are, we do hold an amount of money in reserve in the overlay, which is specifically budgeted for that purpose. And I did check it, and both the 2009 and 2010 overlay accounts still do have sufficient balances to cover any major activity involving abatements. So if everything goes as planned, we'll hopefully have a surplus declared in those accounts, and those will become an available fund to be expended at a future town meeting.
Jeff?
On the abatement applications, did you say how many were satisfied in town?
No, I don't know how many are. No.
But there were some
You mean how many were, I'm sorry, I didn't.
resolved in town?
Oh, I don't know how many will be resolved. I know that the Board of Assessors has been taking action on those, but I don't know what the disposition of
Most
those
of
are.
them are settled. Very few of them go into Boston.
Many, yeah, it's typically your commercial properties that end up before the appellate tax board. Your residential properties are typically resolved internally.
It costs the homeowner dollars to take it to the appellate tax board.
Right. So I'm pleased with the efforts of the assessing office, and hopefully you are too. You'll recall that we were a 35-hour-a-week position until about 2 years ago. We reduced it down to 20, and I think we're getting a pretty good bang for the buck.
It's a direct reflection of Faye's expertise and efforts. She's terrific.
Yeah.
She's worked out extremely well for us.
She sure has.
What about the third vacancy on the board? How are we doing to fill that? Have you made any efforts, you know, then
No, we
timely passing of
have,
Mr. Caproni and?
No, we have Mr. Smith and Mr. Tyne and Ms. Ingraham is fulfilling that role at the present time, because as you know, there's some difficulty in providing people who have certification. So Faye did step forward, and she's been serving in that capacity for a period of time, so that they have a 3-member board of assessors. She does not receive anything extra for that.
That's too bad, too.
Yeah.
She's worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Treasurer collector. Good evening, Mary Ann.
Hi, Mary.
Which one do we want to start?
15 and 16.
16?
15 and 16.
We'll start with 15. Which is the treasury.
On treasurer's budget, the level funded pretty much stayed the same. When I did the level services budget, the only thing that I went up with in the treasurer's department is my professional services would be my tax title accounts, to try to keep them current.
So could you explain that?
Right now, as of last year, when the board cut the budget, our tax title, accounts, they weren't getting processed, they were just sitting, and our tax title attorney wasn't trying to foreclose on them and trying to send letters to the homeowners, trying to get payments. So they were just sitting there, and taxes were not getting paid on them. By us putting a little bit more effort into it, he has been able to collect quite a bit of money, and try to get the taxes back on the roll, so we don't have as many accounts in tax title. So by us going up on the budget, I know last year I went for a reserve fund transfer to cover the cost of it.
Well, certainly that's an area that we should be spending some money in.
Well worth it.
Seems to have paid off.
So it's a little over $3,000 shortfall based on the level funded budget. Anything else you want to highlight on that?
To go to, for the level funded, we did absorb it in my collector's budget,
Okay,
because we had a vacancy.
all right.
And if you go to the collector's budget, what was in the collector's budget for the salaries was actually my predecessor's salary prior to us doing the budget from last year, so there was a little bit of difference in pay.
Maybe I'm misreading this. I don't see it absorbed at all. I see it under collections. I see that you're asking for additional money.
For the level services, yes.
Yes. So I'm trying to understand the $3,000 that you were looking for, additional $3,000 for professional services.
That was in the treasurer's,
Right, in the
Right.
treasurer's budget.
yes.
I thought I heard